How crucial is video in your business's marketing efforts? Well, it's kind of a big deal. People are looking to connect with people and the people behind businesses. If someone is looking for a service, your service, they are looking for someone to deliver that service. And the first place they will get to know you is online. But as a business, creating video content looks different. Don't compare yourself to those who create content full time.
Running a business as a CEO, it's a very different thing from running a business as a content creator.
And if you aren't comfortable on camera or you don't know where to start with video marketing, then this episode is for you. My special guest and I are going to chat all about it, give you some video ideas and tips to make it easier to show up for your potential clients online, and we'll, of course, be sharing some of our own stories and laughs. Let's get to it. Hi, I'm Lindsay Berta, founder of Berta Marketing, a marketing agency designed specifically for small business owners where I handle all of your marketing so you can focus on what you love. My special guest this episode is Joseph Rubelli. Joseph is a communication strategist and video and marketing expert. After a background in sales and marketing and business across Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, he combined his experience in corporate with a passion for storytelling and communication. He founded his own digital agency, Rubelli Digital, in 2020, focusing on helping coaches, creators, and entrepreneurs transform their businesses into strong digital brands, leveraging social media marketing and public relations. And he has some great video tips and insights to share. Hey, Joseph, thanks for joining me. So you've worked all over and you are in New York now, right?
Yes, I am in New York City. I moved here in March, 27th of March this year,
Wow.
after 2 years down the line, because I was supposed to move here in 2020, and then, of course, the whole planet stops.
Right.
So I moved from the UK, and for anyone tuning in, I am Italian. I grew up in Italy, then I moved to England when I was 21. I lived in the UK for 10 years, and now I live in New York City. So it's really fun.
Wow, that's awesome.
Um, yeah, it's good. This is my second move. I lived in the Middle East for a bit. It was only for work as well. So I've been
Oh, wow.
around. I did
Yeah.
travel a little bit. It was good. I think it's, you have to get used to it. It is a
Yeah.
very different culture. I've been in America many times on holiday, but living here, it's very, very different.
I bet.
Now I think, I think I'm getting used to it.
Yeah.
But I always say for anyone that makes a big change, as moving to a new country, moving to a new job, all these big
Yeah.
changes, they really sort of shake up your routine, if you will. You
Yeah.
really need to give yourself a year. Now it's been 3 months down the line, and I am very much liking it. I am settling in. I love the fact that we have season here, because in England the weather's kind of like the same all the time.
Oh,
Although
yeah,
now they have a
yeah.
heat wave, so
Yeah.
so
Right.
yeah. And there are some patterns that you have as a person, and I see myself in the last couple of years. I relocated from London to the northeast of England before I moved to New York, because it was, during COVID, I didn't want to live in London. So I rented my house in London, and then I moved to the northeast, where it's a little bit quieter. And, I really been able to appreciate a different pace of life, which allowed me now to be able to say, okay, great, I love the buzz of New York, but I want to come out of it whenever I can. So it's
Yeah.
really good, because if you talk to me in 2019, I was the ultimate city boy, the person going to every single, social event, working 9 to 5, going out for drinks, doing that. I was very social.
Yeah.
And now I find that very exhausting. I
Yeah.
think I change, and I allow myself to discover a new side of me, which is so much more introverted than I gave myself credit for. I always
Yeah.
thought, I'm not an introvert. I'm a very out there person. I actually am very much more introvert now than I was before. So it's really interesting how
Mhm.
you get to know each other through such a challenging time, such it was, the last couple of years.
Yeah. And get to know yourself because
Yeah,
exactly the same way. I always call myself an ambivert because I'm extrovert and I'm introvert. It
I
depends
like
on my,
that.
yes, it depends on my
Ooh.
situation because, I used to do a lot of, this is a whole other topic, but I used to do growing up from a very young age. I did a lot of performing. I did music. I did, and stuff like that. And that makes you have to be very extroverted. You're, talking to people, you're on stage, and then, but then on my everyday life, I like to just be quiet. I like to stay at home.
Exactly.
You know,
especially showing up online a lot, like you do and I do,
Mm-hmm.
people get used to the persona that they see online. The person behind the screen, it's very similar but different. Because, I always say to people, you see a 25 seconds video and probably a 10% of the life of a person. So you can't really assume anything from it. And, and on social media, you do share what is related to the person that follow you. You share a part of that, is interesting to them. That doesn't mean it's your whole life.
I like what you pointed out. What you said is that it's not one. Yes, we can share as much as we possibly can, but you're still only seeing like 10, 20 seconds of a person. So we want to make sure that what we are putting out there is, quality content, especially as a business owner. Like what are, as a business, there are certain things I'm just not going to post video wise, because it won't serve me. It won't serve my audience. It won't serve, right. That doesn't mean I'm not being myself. It's just, I'm choosing what is,
also, I agree. And there's a big difference. And I think, when I speak to business owners, I have my digital agency, Rebelli Digital. We do creative marketing for businesses, which is very different from creative marketing for content creators. And I always say, when you speak to business owners and, I deal with industries that are a little bit less out there. I do automotive engineering. I do dentistry. I do plastic surgery. I do dermatology. So the all people that have a profession, which is their main revenue stream, and they use social media to market that, which is great. But the approach of doing that, it's very different. Because I said, running a business as a CEO, it's a very different thing from running a business as a content creator. So the revenue and the revenue comes from other things, and the metrics that matter to you as a business owner are very different. So I always try to point that out. And, when it comes to sharing and oversharing, I think you find the balance through the years. There was a time when I started in 2017, 2018, Instagram was a very different place. I was very much focused into travel. Travel is a big passion of mine. I will go in different cities every weekend in Europe, and I will use the captions of Instagram as a little blog to kind of get to know people, get to know the person behind the screen. But then what happened was I was sharing a lot of my personal life, and I thought, there's nothing wrong with it. I just don't think this is the direction I want to take as a business owner. I don't want to compromise my privacy and compromise my private life with the fact that, and you have to be comfortable with it. And I wasn't. So I was just doing a big sharing of everything, and there was a lot of stories and a lot of content, and I was just like, okay, great, let's take a little break, let's see how I can make this sustainable. Because realistically, you get to a point where if you feel that what you're about to share with that share button feels itchy to you and uncomfortable because it's something that you wouldn't share, you probably want to question yourself twice before you do it. And that doesn't mean that you don't have to. You just want to be mindful that the impact is different. And I came to a very comfortable place now where I share quite a lot of it, and I share in my own narrative, my own way. And this is the beauty of social media. You share what you want with your own narrative, and you want to keep it authentic. Of course, you don't want to share something that is not. And this is a big problem online. Sometimes you see people having this wonderful lifestyle, and it's all from stock.com. It's not real. And I think it's very difficult because we are going through, I am starting to have younger audience following me, younger freelancers, younger people that come out of university. They are interested to work as a freelancer. And I always say to them, don't be flashed out by the smokiness of social media. There is so much more to it. So I think that's very important for me. One of my purposes online is to make an impact with the content in line, to deliver value with what I share, but at the same time to keep it extremely, extremely relatable. Because it's very, I always say, when people say, which content work, create a content you would like to see. Create a content you would like to see and share that. And, it can be a format. For example, I come from radio broadcasting. That was one of my first jobs. Then I went into sales and marketing for a lot, and doing sales and marketing for corporate, which is where I am now able to put that experience into working with businesses behind the scene, because I have a very corporate approach. So what happened in radio was I used to love commentary. And my commentary style of reels is what people like the most, because it's like, it's some sort of societal you will see on the red carpet, let's say, of
Yeah,
celebrities
yeah.
when they go to the Met Gala, but I'm
Uh-huh.
talking about digital marketing. So I use the content I would like to see, so the commentary, but approach to my audience in a way that
Yes.
is, it's about the angle. It's not about the content. Many times you might have somebody in a different niche that does something that you like,
Mhm.
in terms of, because I always say, what kind of content do you consume when you're not working? That's a very
Mhm.
important question to ask. And if you're in the
That's a
audience
great
right now, you're
question.
listening to, yeah, if you're in the
Yeah.
audience right now, you're listening to this, ask yourself this question: which platform do you use as a user and not as a creator? For me, it's TikTok. Okay, so I go to
Oh,
TikTok
yes.
as a user and I scroll endless, you
Yes,
know,
I can get sucked into that one for hours.
yeah, and for me, I am somebody that goes and I will look at the celebrity fashion police, and I will do that, and I will look at the Amber Heard and Johnny Depp trial, all those things that I
Yeah.
just used to switch off, or the Real Housewives, for example. I love all that stuff because it's sort of
Yeah.
a way to not think about anything else. So
Mhm.
it's really funny to me. And what I thought a few months ago, I was like, I like this style of commentary, and I think I can bring that into my audience, but then I can twist it to something that they're interested in. And there was a creator on Instagram that I follow, and her name is Carol. She's really good. And she shares something
Oh,
that I thought
yes.
was really,
Yeah, I
yeah,
follow her too. She's great.
she's really good. So she shares something that I thought was really interesting. It's switching from demographic to target audience, because when you talk
Yes.
about target audience, people talk about the age, and the reality is
Mhm.
what they are interested in. And what I indeed, I thinking about that, I was like, that's really true, because that's what I did. I know my audience was interested in these things, so
Mhm.
I know they were interested on Netflix on this particular series, and I basically twisted into something they might find value out of it. So I did a series from, for example, Sex and the City, and I
Oh,
analyzed Sarah
yeah.
Jessica Parker being the first influencer as Carrie Bradshaw. So that's influencer marketing, but with a twist of TV. So that
Oh,
was really
yeah.
interesting. Yeah. So it's really about making it making something that works for you in a way
Mhm.
that is interesting to who follow you.
Definitely. And I love what you said earlier. You said about there is a huge difference between being online as a CEO of a business and a, full-time content creator. Because as a full-time content creator, you're really you are what you're selling. Now, of course, in all aspects, I think we are all personal brands selling, what we're selling. But
Absolutely.
especially as a content creator, that's your main thing, and maybe you have some products or, services outside of that. The difference with a CEO is you have an established business. Now you want to attract people to that business. So yeah, you want to throw in some personality. Like you said, what are they consuming already? Kind of do that. Like you said, with the commentary videos, I love those as well. And so you want to make sure that each piece is related to that service that you offer, or that, why you want people to attract you. Because like you said, you were sharing a lot of your personal life and things like that. So you might start gaining a lot of followers for that reason, but those followers may never buy, because that's not, they're following you because, oh, I see he loves to travel and I love to travel. But
Yeah.
maybe they're not a business who, you know what I mean? So you have to make sure you're hitting that target audience. So that really is the big difference that I see.
Yeah, it's very true.
With
And
that.
also, when I started, I left my corporate job. I was business development manager for a big beauty brand, and I was responsible for the UK market, the Italian market, Germany, and the Middle East. And
Nice.
it was a very fun job because I got to travel. It was really, hands on the marketing side. I was working with influencer marketing. My previous role prior that was I was in charge of influencer marketing partnerships. So I knew a lot about the influencer marketing side of it. So when I started working for myself, I was doing consulting for beauty brands and startup. And then I was using Instagram to market myself as a content creator, which was not the right thing to do
Mm.
because I was getting, as you said, the wrong type of audience. And
Yeah.
I want to explain this for anyone that is confused what being a content creator and being a CEO on Instagram
Yeah.
means.
Yeah.
So if you're a content creator, your main revenue stream, and let's say influencer content creators, etc., you work with brands and you're doing a partnership. To be able to get to that partnership, you have certain metrics that matter. So it would be the engagement, it would be the views, it would be the likes, it
Follow
would be the
count.
followers,
Yeah.
yeah, follow count. So all those metrics are important to the brand you're working with. And from a perspective of somebody that used to look for influencers and content creators, I can say to you what the business will look at is the engagement and is how the community is invested in what you share. So, I remember I will go through an account of content creators and influencers, see what type of content, what type of comments, they will share. For example, somebody will do a partnership with a fitness brand. I will go underneath the sponsor post and say, okay, great. They just say, oh, you look great, or they say, oh, I'm interested in the product. And that's where I will then make my decision whether that person was, worth it for us or not. And that's a different way of working. It still is a revenue stream. But when you're a CEO, in reality, you have a product that you are selling, and the most important parts for you are website taps, DMs, comments. For example, a very simple example of strategy when you're working as a content creator and when you're working as a CEO. Let's say you're doing a reel series, right? And you are a business owner. You are testing the market to launch a new course. Let's make this very simple example. And you are creating a series around the topic. And what you are doing, you are sharing value about this topic, and then you want people to engage on the comments. Now, the point of, the metric for you is to go in the comments and see what people are saying about this series. Do they want more? Do they want more tips? Do they find it useful? Do they find it interesting? And that's your market research reel. So that's your reel for you. You might do 5 or 10 of them, and you want to go through the comments and see what people say. If the series is interesting, if people find value, if they say to you, oh, this is something I really needed, that's for you. It's telling you that there is a gap for you in the market, so you can create a paid product around that. So I did this for my series called Edit Like a Pro. So I basically created a series with other creators as well. So I collaborated with people that were in the same niche. What we did very simple tips about editing, because I realized when I started niching down to video back in 2020, I realized the main problem there was camera confidence. And then now my audience is more like, now I am on video, but I don't know how to edit them. And I realized editing makes such a big thing. And my video always kind of stand out because of the editing. So I created a series around that, and I was like, okay, great. Thank you. So these are all the tips that I do, that I share. And I was like, okay, let's try to see the series. I did 10 parts of it, and the engagement was great. So I created a course called Edit Like a Pro, which is a one-on-one coaching where you work with me on Zoom, and I teach you the psychology behind editing. So that's the product for me. And what happened is every single person that commented my video on the Edit Like a Pro series, it's a potential warm lead for me. So I know that that's the people that are interested in the product.
And you're building awareness.
Exactly. So that's how I created it. I created a video about something that was interesting to the audience that they needed. And then that's how I used those series as a way to do a market research and then turn it into a product. So,
that's what I see, like with CEOs. It's you're constantly doing research. Like that's kind of what your marketing is. You're constantly doing research. You're seeing what the people want. You're asking people what they want, and you're building up to that, building the awareness, and then letting the audience drive which direction you take it, because you want to sell or give the service or whatever that they want, that they're looking for. It's so important to be on video. Everyone should be on video. And we're giving great reasons why you need to be on video. But why do you think it's so important now more than ever that people need to be on video, especially businesses?
Sure. So video are the quickest way and the most authentic way to connect with your audience. People will connect better with video. Researchers show that 80% of conversion happen from a video placement rather than static post, especially for product-based business. So if you are if your aim is end consumer, that's a very good way. That's a very good approach to have. The reason why we are more connected to video, and if you think about it, in the history of social media, from YouTube all the way to TikTok nowadays, videos have always been the main conversion point for everybody. Everybody that does video is more relatable, is more authentic. People connect to it because there is a more authentic connection from it. And in the last 2 years, being very restricted with the socializing, being very restricted with all the, COVID problems that we had, we really lost that human touch and human connection. So video was a great replacement while we couldn't go outside. And, also we used that as an escape mechanism to really do not think about anything else. And that's why infotainment go into place. The ability to give information, but also make it entertaining. That's where I think it was born. Edutainment,
yeah. And I see that that's a great point. And that's what I was thinking too. And I also see too, that's how it influenced video to become more raw and unedited as well. So it's like this huge rise in TikTok. I mean, TikTok is the most unfiltered, video platform out there. And it is it's taking off. It's one of I think it's the top, velocity. It's the top platform.
Yeah, right, it's velocity, our attention span is going down. Everything is shorter, quicker, snappier. Everything has to be, you need to wrap up a lot of information within 20 to 30 seconds, up to 90 seconds now. But I think what happened was our attention span, due to the amount of information we were in front of during COVID, was very little. So we're going from having very short videos on TikTok. And now slowly but surely, I don't know if you notice, there is a pattern going on with platforms. We are gaining more seconds every month. We went from 30 to 90 on Reels. Yeah. And now, TikTok is going to launch a 10 minutes video in vertical because their main competitor is YouTube, where Instagram main competitor is TikTok. So it's really interesting to me to see how everybody is sort of becoming all the same in a way. But they all have different aim. Like TikTok is very much trying to compete with YouTube. YouTube is seeing a power into vertical videos. So shorts are very strong. And, the reach is bigger on vertical videos for across every platform, really. But now what TikTok is trying to do is to put a 10 minutes video, I believe, by the end of the year as a limit. So I wonder what it's going to look like.
Yeah, I'll be curious to see how that.
Yeah, a year from now, we're going to have a longer form video again. So I think it's really interesting shift. What I know is that my attention span is the same one of a hamster. I have a hamster attention span. Like literally, I don't have any patience anymore. And I realized that after COVID, I think I cannot deal with more than 2 minutes. And if I do, I have to put them in speed up.
Yes, or it has to be very eye-catching, or a lot is happening, a lot of shifts happening within that span of
That's why I edit my video in the way I do it. I am very much into jump cut, because that's coming back to the content I would like to see. That's the content I will engage with. So, and when it comes to video, you need to experiment. You need to try. Video, it's a big, big, scary thing for a lot of people. Will I look perfect? Or how do I sound? My voice looks terrible. Or, I sound terrible. All these things.
Yes. And what's funny is no one cares. No one cares. I say that all the time to people. I'm like, I go, this is going to sound harsh, but I'm like, nobody cares. They care.
It's true.
But they don't care. Right?
You know what? I always carry on. Sorry.
That's okay. I was just going to say, like, they don't care about a bad hair day. If you stumble over a word, they don't care. They probably don't even notice, because we are our own worst critic. So we're going to notice all those things. If
we are our biggest troll. I honestly say that. Yeah, exactly. And usually who does care about those things? It's people that are not your target audience anyway. The people that will stump into your video for another reason. They found you by mistake. And because they don't know your narrative, they don't know who you are as a person, they don't know what you're talking about, they will point out on what they see. However, there is a very big mindset shift that I always educate my clients to take on. And it's, when you're starting off with video, you are thinking of being the message of the video, but in reality you are the messenger. So when you are sharing a video, people will find you because they are looking for a solution to a problem. You are delivering that solution and you are the messenger, so you're only there to deliver that solution. So that's how they will come to you. They will invest on you in terms of, okay, this person was really useful. Thank you so much. It's a step away from Google. I found it on Instagram. Oh, let me try it on. And then they step into another video of yours. You share another information they need. I said, oh, this is really useful too. Let me try it on. Then they step in another video of yours. Say, oh, I actually I really like this person. Let me follow them.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
The personality comes after, once you gave enough information for them to trust you. And then they're going to be like, oh, I actually want to know more about this guy. What does he do this video?
Yes. And I'm glad you bring that up too. It's because you could be the best at what you do. You can deliver that information, but there is that extra step that consumers now take. And I think that's why video is so important as well, is we want to be able to know and trust the person. We want to like the person. And I think especially as a service-based business, when I know that I'm going to be working with you for an extended period of time or working directly with you, I want to, I want to like you. I want to relate to you in some way, or feel, feel that we would get along, kind of thing.
Absolutely.
So that personality, it's like, okay, this is great. Everything he or she offers is fantastic. But then you're like, I just don't vibe with them. Or maybe you're like,
yeah, exactly.
Right.
But who is she?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because it does go down to very simple human connection most of the time. And for me, I always share this. I'm like, well, don't worry too much about the outcome of your first video. You're gonna have to look weird in line to then look fine. It's a process. Yeah. And it's the same thing, I love to see the progress of people. When they start with the trending audio, we will do it. When they go with pointing into text bubble, because that's what everybody does. And I always say, that's not my cup of tea, but if this is a step forward to make you more comfortable and to actually get you started, be my guest and do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, exactly. And too, I mean, even me myself, I'm extremely comfortable on video. But even myself, I have seen a progress with my videos. And the thing is they wouldn't have gotten better if I didn't start. Like if I didn't start, let's say, 3 years ago, if I wouldn't have started creating video content, then if I started today, I would almost, if you think about it, I would be 3 years behind. Like my video would be what it was 3 years ago if I started today.
Yeah.
So it's like, don't wait. Don't think, oh, I got to wait till I'm ready or wait till it's perfect, because what is perfect anyway, but it's not going to be perfect. And you're always going to find something to improve on. And that is the whole process. That's how you get better and, and get more comfortable and perfect your message and how you deliver it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And, I want to share something about perfectionism, because I am a recovering perfectionist. When I started on social media, I wasted so much time trying to perfect the whole graphic, the whole editing, the whole lighting. And I remember recording my first YouTube video, and I recorded it 18 times.
Wow. Yeah.
So that was where I realized, I was like, okay, if I am doing this for the long run, I'm going to have to actually overcome this perfectionism thing, because it's not going to be healthy for me. It's just going to, no, there's no time. It's going to be draining. It's not going to work. So what happened is, thankfully, as we mentioned before, the type of video is less, less polished now, more raw, which allows you to be faster and add that velocity to your strategy. You can do a video within 10 seconds and actually put some text in the video, is ready to go, and now this type of video works so much better than the very polished edited video that we used to. Also, when it comes to perfectionism and start something new, we always, for some reason, want to be the best at that something new that we're trying. So, for example, if you've never done video before, you're going to start looking at other people's video. You're going to start to compare your video and say, oh, great. So I need these lights. Okay, great. I need this background. Oh, amazing. I need this camera. Because what happened in there, you're seeing this final product of them, and you're thinking that has to be like yours. But here's the shift. You are comparing yourself to a stage of product that is not the stage you are now. When they go to the level of being, you have a very edited video, it's very, very important to be super polished. That's stage 10 for them. You are stage 1. So my advice is, okay, great. You like that creator. You like that person that you follow religiously. You follow all their steps. Go back to their feed and go to the very first video they share. That's the video. If you want to do a comparison game, you need to compare yourself with it.
Yeah. That is a good idea. So why do people prefer to see video content from their favorite brands, right? Because we talked about seeing video as being connected human-wise, during the pandemic and all that, but from businesses in particular, why is video so important?
Yes. So I think that's a very good question. And I'm going to bring you two examples. So we have product-based businesses and then we have service-based businesses. And the reason why video is so important for both of them are the following. So when you're a product-based business, the reason why video content converts better is because as a consumer, I will find your website as the last part of my consumer journey most of the time. The first place where I will look for you will be on social media. And what I want to see on social media isn't an extension of the media, of the videos and pictures that you use on your website. I want to see real content. So I want to see a video where you show me how the product works. I want to see tutorial. I want to see different ways of using the product. So I'm going to bring you two examples. When I was working in corporate and I was in the beauty industry, we will always have influencers and content creators to share the product as part of their review. And, they will always have other products with it, because that's the way we were able to compare it. And that was the argument with my boss, because he was like, why are we paying somebody to share a review about our product, but it's mixed with other products that they use? So because this is how people buy. People are not going to buy your whole range in one go. They will mix it and match with what they use. So if you're able to create a placement with a content creator that is a piece of media that you pay for, but at the same time is very authentic to them, this will convert so much better. Another big point when you're doing video is to be able to share the reason why your product is different. And I worked with this client last year. It was a cashmere brand. They had this cashmere brand, which was very high quality, very expensive. And they were not really believing on social media. And I tell you why. They were using social media, basically just repurposing the picture they pay money for to put on the website. So they came to me on our discovery call and they go like, oh, well, I don't believe in social media because we put content in, it doesn't work. I don't think social media is right for us. And I was like, well, I tell you why it's not right for us.
It always is done right?
Yeah, it does. It's just the measurement and the return of investment is different because, awareness is a return of investment. It's just not measured in the way you think you should be measured.
I'm so glad you bring that up. I say that all the time. Marketing ROI is different. It's not always measured in sales or dollars, right? You have trust you're building, awareness you're building. Yeah.
Yeah. And this is a very good example because we were on this call and I said to them, this is why it doesn't work. I am your end consumer. I buy cashmere. I love cashmere. I will not spend the money on your product because I don't know it. I'm sure it's great. If I don't see it, nobody else will. Yeah. And the reason why was because I was like, there isn't a video where you shared with me why your cashmere is $259 compared to another one that is $99. What is the difference in material? There isn't a video where you share with me why do you came out with this type of cashmere rather than another one. You didn't share any video where I don't see any person walking with a cashmere jumper from you. I don't see any person touching any cashmere jumper from you. All these things are linked to emotions. Okay. We want to feel that we're touching the product, which is why when you do skincare brands and you try the product in tutorial, this is why it's such a big industry, because people want to see the product in action. And this is the same for clothing. I was like, why don't we get someone in your team, in your store to actually style this cashmere jumper? How can you style a cashmere jumper and turn an outfit from day to night? That's a very interesting thing. This is coming back to the content I would like to see. And this is the content your consumer would like to see. And I am your end consumer. So I explained to that and we created a strategy where we sort of build value rather than sharing value. And this is a very key word. We build value to educate the client to take action and buy. And this links me to service-based businesses. When you're a service-based businesses, you are sharing, information about your industry. But the way you do it is strategic, because if you're sharing too much value, you're only one step away from Google. And people will come to you just because it's easier. They know you, people connect and interact with what is familiar to them. So if they see you a lot of times, they will come to you because they don't have to Google what they need. You just give them to them.
You're a trusted resource now.
Exactly. Building value, on the other hand, it's when you're building, when you're educating people to take action about a specific thing. On a service-based business, it would be sharing a tutorial, for example, one of my niches is banking and finances, which is very difficult to market on social media because I work with this loan, this company, they do loan. It's a loan firm. They help you to find your right loan for your house. Okay. So to mortgage your house in the right way. So the way we build value with it was we were sharing interesting content about the industry. So sharing different type of mortgage, what kind of mortgage can you get? What does deposit look like? Information about the industry. This were general information to captivate the audience. And then what we were doing, we were going live with the founder and we would be like taking question about specific mortgage, a specific, finance concern that people had in the community. Yeah. So that's building value because we are using the community as a way to showcase more expertise, but at the same time, we're educating the person to take action and say, okay, great, we are the right people for you. And, this is a very big thing. So if you're someone out there listening right now and you're a product-based business or a service-based business, if you're a service-based business, I will say, make sure that what you're sharing on social media as educational content is still linked to your paid offer. So think about the steps that your paid offer has, and think about which stage is your consumer at when they find you, and try to market backwards. What do they need to know to find me? What do they have to find me? It is really important to know when the person needs your service because they're going to budget for it. So if they don't know at which stage the consumer is at when they find you, they don't know if they're in the right stage for you yet. And that's a very important part.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And I say that often too. I say that a lot too, is, we talked about marketing ROI, how it's about awareness and trust, and you're building all of that over time. So now that you bring that up, you don't know where, like if someone finds you today, you don't know where they are yet in that journey. Maybe they're at the very beginning and maybe they're like, okay, I definitely want to work with this person. But maybe they're working on their budget and they're budgeting for it. And they know that they can work with you maybe in the next 6 months, but they just kind of sit back silently and they're watching and they're waiting. And then when they're ready, they reach out. So you as the, CEO and the person creating content, you have to realize that the person watching you might already be interested. You got to keep them interested. You got to show them the value. So that when they are ready, they don't, that they come to you. If you don't show up, someone else will. So
exactly. As the investment on social media that you're making will be we're going to work on dividing your business into different seasons, and we're going to focus on a different goal each season. And the ultimate goal is to convert into sales. But that to you allows you to understand, okay, great. So I have X amount of month of working with this client, and this is how they can track me to see if I'm doing the right job or not. But marketing is not sales. That's why there is a sales team.
Yeah,
it's awareness.
Yeah.
So it's linking to the point that we shared before. Awareness is a return on investment.
We know that there's this whole journey that prospects are going on when they become aware of you, and to just try that for 2 months. Well, you might have 10 people over here that won't be ready for maybe 5 months. And if you only try it for 2 months and then you drop off, and you're not marketing anymore, they're going to go to someone else who is staying in front of them. So I would love to leave people with some tips, that they can start incorporating video into their strategy, or if they're not comfortable on video, what can they do?
So I would say a very good tip for anyone starting out with video is to think about video in a more open way. It isn't only about being on camera. You can do videos in different formats. You can do voiceovers. You can actually do time lapse of your
I love time lapse.
I do too. So you can do a little day in your lifetime lapse, and then you can voice over and that can become a reel. Or you can take your best performing carousel and turn it into a reel with text and slides, and then you can walk your audience through with voice. And it's a very cool way of doing it, And you can also think about, okay, great. I don't really feel comfortable to show my face yet. So what can I do? Think about actually using the power of voiceovers completely on your stories, on your reels. You can do that on You can do mini training on live. So you jump live and then you share the screen and you share some more information about the carousel that you recently posted. So that becomes like a little masterclass. And then you can save that. And that become a video piece of content.
That's a really great point, because I even, I think I recently saw a study or something that said simply hearing a voice actually instantly builds trust with, even if they don't see your face, but just hearing your voice.
The voice is so powerful. I will say for anyone struggling with camera confidence, start with your voice. That's a very big tip.
Yeah, I love that tip.
If you instead are not used to video and you're struggling to remember to film videos, I will say, I'm going to give 2 tips. The first one is to make you accountable with video. So I would say, educate yourself to film a little time lapse every day, a 10 seconds video every day about what you're doing. And then at the end of the week, you stitch them together and that becomes a little blog and you can share that on story and you can use your voice to voice over it. So for example, on the weekend, I am never on social media. However, I do go to places, I go to restaurants. So I do like a little 10 seconds video and maybe a 10 seconds video of the view. And then a 10 seconds video of me walking with a coffee. And then I voice over it and the story comes up together. Because that's sort of how it happens, right? We don't have, to film everything. It has to be a little sneak peek and then you stitch it together.
It doesn't have to be a full production.
Exactly.
Right.
So that's the very first thing to do for you to become accountable and remember to film. If you instead are looking to gain confidence in front of the camera, I will say you want to do this for 10 days. You go on your camera and you start filming yourself and you're going to speak about your day, what happened today, just like you're speaking to your best friend on FaceTime. And what you're going to do, you're going to do this for 10 days, but you're not going to watch your videos back until the same day. And then when you watch it back, you want to watch the video only by watching the video without the audio, so you can focus on your body language. And then you can take notes about what that body language is saying to you. How does that make you feel? Does it make you feel comfortable, uncomfortable? Do you feel relaxed? Do you feel awkward? And that's just by your body language. Once you've done that with one video, you can move to the next one and just listen to the voice without watching the video. And then you can think about, how does your voice sound? Do you like your voice? You probably don't. We all hate our voices on camera. So you're going to have to get used to it. So you want to take that and you would actually be very keen and be not too hard on yourself. If you don't like your voice, just take time to perfection it and later on. And then the last step is you're going to take another video that you film and you're going to watch it all together. And then you're going to take more notes. And then the last thing you want to do is to watch another video and you watch the whole thing together. And then you compare and you connect all the points of the last previous 2, but that allows you to understand what you have to work on next when you're looking to do more videos. So that's a very good exercise. It allows you to become accountable because you film yourself every day. It allows you to get comfortable around the idea of filming on video and documenting rather than just sharing. And that's a very big part. And also with the same thing with stories, filming 10 seconds every day and stitching them all together is documenting for you. And people like documentation because people love to see what's happening behind the screen. At the same time, the little exercise of, taking notes with mute or like not looking at yourself on camera allows you to understand in a very strategic way what is exactly that one thing that makes you scared about the camera. And let me tell you, most of the time it will be one thing, but because of the whole package when you're filming on social media, you have the fear of sharing that video, which is why I said film for 7 days, but do not share that. Keep it on your camera.
Do it for yourself. Yeah.
And, that gives you accountability, allows you to learn more about yourself and allows you to understand when you're going to have a list of what you're going to have to work on next. So these are my tricks for video for starters. That's a little bit of starter part.
I think those are good tricks. Good tricks, especially the listening to yourself over and over again. It's being familiar makes you comfortable.
Yeah. It's
even with yourself.
You do. And, my friends always make jokes with me because it was like, when we're going for dinner, you have your normal voice, but when you're on camera, you have your commentator voice. So like my friend the other day was like, okay, so reporting from New York City, Joseph Ribelli's here on the table. What would you like to say? And I was like, whoa. I was like, listen, my margarita last night did not end well. So as I'm too hungover for this, let's talk about it on Monday.
That's so funny. It's true. It's like when you hit record, it's like you're on, right?
Yeah.
It's like you just turn on.
I do.
Yeah,
It's hilarious.
I'm like that too.
And so when I did the Digital Boss podcast, I used to start the second season. People were messaging me on Instagram. They were like, "Oh my God, I love the fact that you changed your intro." And I'm like, "Sorry, what do you mean?" I was like, "Well, I love the fact that you are reporting now information about digital marketing." And I was like, "Yeah, you're right," because I keep saying, I was like, reporting from York, United Kingdom, Joseph Rebelli here. You are listening to the Digital Bosses podcast. So it was very like reporting style, and I was like, "Yeah, I like that."
Yeah.
And it was very unique. Nobody was doing it. So I was like, it works.
Yeah. Hey, go with being yourself in that way, because that's what's going to make you stand out. Obviously, they noticed. So
they did. Yeah. And it's crazy what people notice. When I do live, for example, I say, hello, Joseph Rebelli here, welcome. Yeah, and everybody's like, I love your hello. So I'm sorry, what do you mean? Your intro. I was like, oh my God. I said, I never thought about it. I was like, that's really funny. So I'm going to keep it. Thank you for giving me a feedback. So it's really funny.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's funny too, because when I first started doing video on Instagram, for my business, right away people were like, oh my God. And I never thought of this, but everyone was like, oh, I love your voice. It's so soothing. Like I could listen to you all day. And I was like,
yeah, I do too. I love your voice as well. That was one of the best things.
Thanks. But I was like, really? It's like something you don't notice about yourself, but everyone else picks up on it.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you something. Somebody said to me, oh, I love your voice. And so my best friend said to me, Joseph, your voice is everything but soothing. So people know that they're awake when they listen to you. Say, your podcast is great. You're very good at what you're doing, but you're everything but soothing. And I was like, I'm going to take this as a compliment. I said, I talk about marketing, and I said, people need to be awake when they're in it. So I was like, thanks.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's true, because I had someone say to me once, I could fall asleep listening to your voice. And I was like, I don't know if that's a good thing or not.
Yeah, that's
but you do have sometimes. Yeah, you do have a very energetic, like welcoming voice. Like it's
thank you.
Yeah, I do love it, especially when hello.
Exactly. Well, I tried. It's funny because at the beginning I was trying. You do try different things, especially in my first podcast. I remember I was trying to have this very soothing voice, and I listened back to myself 2 years later, and I'm like, God, is this an Instagram strategy? I was like, is this an Instagram strategy or an OnlyFans commentary? I was like, that doesn't work for me. It's not me. I was like, that's good. But you need to try. And the whole purpose of sharing this is to share how interesting is the process for every one of us. Is very different. And I think, if you're thinking, because what happens is when you're following somebody on social, you start to emulate them, and you don't realize that you speak like that.
Oh yeah.
And and I see a lot of people, like there was this guy that unfortunately I realized he was copying my content later on. He was doing plagiarism, but I remember I stepped into him, and he was doing a video about camera confidence and about video strategy, and I remember going into his comments, and I was like, buddy, from a perspective of somebody that never takes a breath, breathe. I was like, he was speaking very fast. I was like, what is really difficult for people? And people were saying to him on the comments, and I was like, I said, buddy, he was speaking really, really fast, and, I have an accent, and his accent was stronger than mine. And I don't remember where he was from, but the thing is, I said, I think the difficulty here, I was like, buddy, I'm not trying to be horrible to you, but I think people have difficulty to understand what you say because you're speaking too fast. And I was like, I'm Italian. We never take breaks, but let me tell you, it's okay. You can take a break.
You can pause once in a while. Yeah.
You can pause, and breathing is still legal. So I was like, you can.
Yeah. I know, it's true. Some people do talk really fast. And then there's the opposite, the people who talk really, really slow. And it's like, come on, just get it out.
That drives me insane. I don't have the energy for that.
Oh my God.
That's where, I have some podcasts that I listen to, and I find myself literally, okay, where is the transcript? I need to read this.
Yeah,
I'm like I can't.
Right? Because people are so busy, right?
No patience anymore. It's so bad.
Oh my gosh.
It's really bad.
But thank you so much for sharing all of this. I think you had some amazing, amazing tips. And I mean, this is why I had you on today, because I know you're just so good at video. I mean, you're one of the first people. Yeah, you're one of the first people I connected with when I started doing Instagram for my business. And you just stand out because your video is so well edited. you show up consistently on video, which I think is so important, more now than ever. And it's why we talked about all of this today. But yeah, you just got to do it. And if you're not comfortable, like you just explained, there are ways that you can get there. And just have fun with it, I think, because the journey is half the fun. Because like I said, even my first videos, I'm just like, why did I do that? And I laugh at it now, right? It's
something I haven't shared is, because I said before, go back to your favorite creator first video and, look at that and compare yourself today if you have to compare yourself to something. So my very first reel, not saying that I'm your favorite creator, but what I'm saying is the very first reel I remember was when we started reel. It was the day after they released the feature. And it was a Dua Lipa song with me. Crossing eyes in the screen because I only had one contact on. So I only have one contact lens on and my phone frozen. So I shared the reel, which had 6,000 views. And it's basically this person, I am wonky eyes, looked at the screen and tried the green screen. And so I always say to my friend, I was like, wow, you got 6,000 views. And I'm like, yeah, out of compassion because I look hideous.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
It was like, you're so good at this. You got 6,000. I said, calm down. I said, I have 6,000 views because it's a new feature. So Instagram is pushing everything. And secondly, I was like, the rest of it, it's just because they look at this, say, poor guy, what's wrong with him? And I said,
let's give him a line. Yeah.
Look at him. Try to understand how life works. I
love it. I'm going to look for that video now,
Oh, you need to do that. Yeah. So this is the takeaway from this podcast is like, even if you look wonky and then a year from now you're looking at yourself and you're not looking wonky anymore, you win. That's great.
That's right.
Yeah. It's really important to, looking back at yourself a year from now. And if you are at the same stage where you were, so still scared of video a year from now, you're not growing fast enough. You just need to do it.
Yeah. And that's the thing. There's no bigger regret than not starting.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also you might love it, you might hate it, but it is really equally important in life to know what you like as it is to know what you don't like.
Yeah, exactly. So great. Thank you so much, Joseph.
And you're very welcome.
Yes. And I will be sure to, have all of your information linked below as well so people can find you and, see what you're offering and what you're up to.
Absolutely.
But yeah, thank you so much. I really had fun.
You're very welcome. Yeah, it was amazing.
I hope you found some useful tips to start incorporating video into your online marketing efforts to help you better connect with your audience and some ideas to help you convert your audience into clients. For more information on Joseph, you can find him online at Rubelli Digital. That's RUBELLI digital.com and on Instagram at Joseph Rubelli. His information will also be included in the description of this podcast. If you're looking for video coaching help, reach out to Joseph. And if you're looking for someone to help you create and manage a complete digital marketing strategy online for your business, I'm just one quick message away. And once again, I'm Lindsay Berta, founder of Berta Marketing, a marketing agency designed specifically for small business owners where I handle all of your marketing so you can focus on what you love. For more small business marketing tips, subscribe to this podcast or find me online at bertamarketing.com. Thanks for listening.